Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm attorney Brian Hargrove with Brian Hargrove Law, along with attorney Stephen Stewart. With us today is Tyreek Williams and Kayla Mitchell, the parents of Bakari Williams. As you know, their 3-year-old son died after being infected with the brain-eating amoeba while playing at a splash pad at the Don Meisenheimer Park in Arlington, Texas. We appreciate each and every one of you being here today and reporting on this preventable tragedy. The parents of Bakari Williams brought suit against Arlington for 2 reasons. Number one, because the city of Arlington decided to ignore the safety rules requiring them to maintain safe water at the splash pad. And number two, to spread public awareness to create actual change, to make sure that something this senseless, something this tragic, something this preventable never, ever happens again. Bakari's death was 100% preventable. Oh, I'm sorry. Today we announce that the parents of Bakari Williams and the city of Arlington have reached an agreement on this case. First, we obtained the maximum economic recovery against a city allowed under the Texas Tort Claims Act. And second, more importantly, we reached an agreement with the city of Arlington that has created change, actual safety measures. Now I'd like to turn it over to Stephen Stewart to discuss the litigation and the specific details, including the various protective safety measures that are part of this settlement agreement.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stephen Stewart. I'm with the Stewart Law Firm in Austin, Texas. Me and my firm are humbled and proud to be counsel for Bakari's parents in this matter. As Mr. Hargrove stated, today we, on behalf of the parents of young Bakari Williams, announce that we've entered an agreement with the city of Arlington to bring this litigation to a close. Most important to the parents of Bakari Williams was to do everything in their power to see that a senseless loss like this never occurs again. In the press packet, we've provided some general information about Naegleria fowleri amoeba. This brain-eating amoeba can be found in poorly maintained and untreated pools and other aquatic facilities such as the splash pad at the Don Meisenheimer Park in Arlington, Texas. That's exactly where Bakari Williams was playing when he contracted this fatal sickness. In order to make certain that this tragedy never happens again, as part of our case resolution with the city of Arlington, Texas, we have express agreements that are going to take significant safety measures to see that this brain-eating amoeba never occurs at another Arlington, Texas splash pad or Arlington aquatic facility. In your press packets, we've provided what we've outlined and what's going to now be known as the Bakari Williams Protocol. We're hopeful, the parents of Bakari Williams are hopeful that these agreements, that these protocols will create required safety changes that's going to protect and save the lives of other children for years to come. We consider that a significant win. The items which the city of Arlington has expressly agreed to do as part of the agreement with Bakari's parents. One, they're going to construct upgrades and improvements to city splash pads and other aquatics facilities. They're going to install new controllers, new testing equipment, new software, new chemical treatment equipment. They're going to have upgraded secondary water treatment systems at all of the splash pads. It's going to also include state-of-the-art ultraviolet water treatment processes. Water testing, water treatment information is now, after this tragedy, going to be publicly available, not only on site, but on the city's website. Importantly, any new aquatic facilities that are constructed or operated by the city of Arlington are going to include the Bakari Williams protocols with all these new policies, procedures, training, methodologies, equipment to save lives and prevent this brain-eating amoeba from developing. 2, the city is going to install at the entrance of each city splash pad and other aquatics facilities signs that's going to include a QR code. So now all a citizen using an aquatic facility has to do is scan the QR on their smartphone, and instantaneously, in real time, water treatment data is going to be available. Moms and dads are now going to be assured that before their kid goes into the splash pad to play, that the water's treated, the water is safe for the child to participate in. 3, and I think this was one of the most important things to the family of Bakari Williams, is the city's expressly agreed to provide education, presentation materials for use and sharing with other municipalities that might own, operate, and construct splash pads just like the one that exists at Don Meisenheimer Park. It's going to be lessons learned. What has the city of Arlington, Texas learned by this tragic event? What can other municipalities do to prevent a tragedy like this from occurring? Education to others so that this senseless tragedy doesn't have to occur again. The city is going to increase inspections on site. Their code compliance department is now going to be involved in annual inspections of these splash pad and other aquatic facility locations. We think that's a good thing. We think that's a safe thing to do. The city's agreed to completely update and rewrite all of their training and education materials for city staff, parks and recreation, water department. This updated training and operating is going to be very beneficial to safeguard the Arlington community. Finally, the city has agreed expressly that the upgraded facilities, the policy changes, the written methodologies, the use of the new state-of-the-art equipment used to maintain, check, and treat water, all that is now in writing going to be known as the Bakari Williams Protocol. Again, it's about saving lives. By doing so, the city is underscoring the importance of safety as it relates to all of their aquatics facilities in the community. And at the same time, they're honoring Bakari Williams, creating a legacy for Bakari Williams for future safety. The parents are proud of that. We believe that these positive changes that have been expressly agreed upon by the parties in this litigation are important. Again, it's about safety. It's about protecting lives. And for the parents of Bakari Williams, everything associated with this litigation, that was number one. How can we improve? How can we make things safe? How can we avoid a senseless tragedy like this from ever occurring again? At this time, I'd like for you to hear directly from the mother and father of young Bakari Williams. They're proud of the now safety legacy that this tragedy has created, and we'll turn the floor over to them.
Hi, good afternoon. On behalf of our child, Bakari, we want to thank you for being here today. On behalf of our family, we want you to know that Bakari was a sweet, beautiful, and innocent child. He did not deserve to die in the manner that he did. For us, this case has been about public awareness. We want to make certain that nothing like this ever happens again. We want to make certain that what happened to our son, what happened to our family, does not happen to anybody else. We want to make certain, I'm so sorry. With the positive changes that the city has agreed to make, we are confident that we have met our goals. And we thank you all for being here today.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for being here today. Does anybody have any questions that we might be able to answer? We're happy to do that at this time.
Is there anything as you went through this negotiation with the city that you didn't get? I mean, it's an extensive settlement. You said that it answers your concerns. Is there anything that you think still needs to be done?
No, I think as counsel for this very loving family that's created this legacy of safety for our community, it's important that all of our demands were listened to by the city of Arlington. I'm confident that all of the demands and the requests and the considerations that we presented to the city of Arlington, I think as the litigation team, I'm confident in telling you that they listened to us. I think that was, important for them, the city of Arlington, as it was for this family. And I'm glad that we could kind of come together in the middle with, public safety and positive change being at the forefront of any and everything associated with this case. And, on behalf of this family, we appreciate the city of Arlington listening to our demands and considerations, and we believe that they follow through in according fashion.
The changes and the improvements, are all of those things already being implemented, or are they yet to come? And can you describe the timetable?
Yes, ma'am. They've already started, the methodologies and changes of written policies and procedures and protocols. Of course, with the new equipment and whatnot, I know that the city of Arlington has already spent, pretty considerable sums of money to invest in this new equipment. I understand from counsel for the city of Arlington that future investment in equipment is going to be ongoing down the road in the short term and the long term. They have agreed, again, it's expressed in the agreement between the parties in this litigation, that they are going to keep us updated and apprised about their progress. And we, of course, are going to let the family know so that we can see that there's follow through, that this stuff is actually being done. That's another reason that we wanted to provide you guys with a copy of the Bakari Williams protocol. We want the city to be held accountable. We want to make sure that they follow through and do what they told us they're going to do. That's important. But this stuff has already been started, and it's going to continue. We understand that a lot of this positive change, particularly as it relates to the splash pads, are going to be in place at the start of the aquatics facilities, the splash pad facilities opening this season. So it's going to be, coming to fruition pretty quickly.
Kayla and Tarek, this is an agreement with the city of Arlington, but what happened to your son is something we hear about in swimming pools or ponds or lakes, not typically in this splash pad scenario. So how important was it to you to have that number 3 in there, that item where Arlington does talk to other cities? Because splash pads aren't something that are unique to the city of Arlington, they're everywhere.
We feel that extremely important. It's not necessarily the level of ignorance of not knowing about how the amoeba grows, but it's a good amount of people out here who don't know about preventing it or what they're supposed to do as far as make sure it doesn't happen to their kids. Because I personally never heard of anything like this until it happened to us. A lot of things that had happened we never heard about or knew about until it happened. So for number 3, that's extremely important that we get that awareness out there for families, that they know that, if you do want to have your child go to places like this, make sure that you're able to get that access to those files or to whatever logs that they have, that they are doing what they're supposed to do to make sure that water is safe for not only you but for your little ones as well. And like you said, it happens in lakes as well, so I hope with number 3 as well, they also inform parents about, swimming in lakes and whatnot, about the proper ear and nose plugs that your child should have.
And that's one thing that was important to us, not only for Arlington, the city of Arlington, and our community, but all communities across the state of Texas and across the nation for that matter. That's why the Bakari Williams protocol, that's supposed to be taught, basically the lessons that Arlington learned from this tragedy, that's supposed to be taught to other cities, other municipalities, whether it's Austin, Texas, Addison, Flower Mound, Texas, or Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All these cities need to be teaching as part of our agreement to these other municipalities. Because, like you said, splash pads, very popular. Every city's building them. And these other cities need to be taught what to do. So, like I said, that this never, ever happens again anywhere.
Mrs. Williams, can we have your first name and spelling?
Kayla, Kayla, and last name Mitchell, Mitchell.
And how are y'all doing? 6 months, that's not a lot of time in terms of grieving, in terms of processing everything. How are you guys holding up?
About as good as anybody else could. I can't really put into words how we feel and what we're going through. It's just, you really won't know until you're actually in our shoes. But we do appreciate the well wishes and prayers that we have been receiving, not only from our immediate friends and family, but also from people who don't even know us, in the comments of what they have said or what they have shared. So we really do appreciate that.
No family should have to go through what y'all are going through, so we appreciate your time and sharing details with us. Summer is right around the corner. You have young family members. Do you trust the city of Arlington moving forward to let your family members go to splash pads in that city?
Tariq?
Trust is one thing. I trust the protocol, that I do. Trusting people to take responsibility, trusting their employees to take what's being handed to them and actually implement it, that's a different thing. I have faith in what we've been able to create, but I'm still obviously still nervous, still scared, still kind of skeptical about myself, my son, my nieces and nephews. You know what I mean? But it's just, that's not something that's specific to Arlington, though. That's just, at this point, I'm nervous of water, period. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's not really much I can say to that. It's just, that. But that's something that we all should have, though. You know what I mean? Just, it's like you said, nobody should have to bury their child before them. And if it's preventable, and like that, if you guys don't take anything else from us today, that is what I want you guys to take and hold on to, preventable. As long as the proper precautions are taken, you get to go home with your little ones,
And that was one thing that was very important to Tyreek at the beginning, and when I started, and I honestly mean this from my heart, that we appreciate each and every one of you guys being here, because it's going to be through the news, through the different media outlets, that this story is going to spread across not only Texas but across the country. And like Tyreek said, this was preventable, and no family should ever have to suffer what they're going through and what they'll continue to go through. So we appreciate you guys being here today and getting this message out there. And that was one of the first things genuinely that Tyreek expressed, is that, hey, this should have never happened. Unfortunately, it was his son Bakari. But if there's anything he can do to get this out there so someone else doesn't have to, then that's what we're going to do. So we truly appreciate you guys being here today and being part of this story.
Any other questions?
You said that you guys
Yeah, these claims, the city of Arlington is a governmental entity. All claims against municipalities are governed by the Texas Tort Claims Act. That's a statutory cause of action created by our Texas legislature many, many years ago. Claims that are prosecuted under the Texas Tort Claims Act, the plaintiff, the victim that is suing, is statutorily capped on the amount of damages that are recoverable under the law. And pursuant to the cause of action created by the Texas Tort Claims Act, the city of Arlington has agreed to pay as a settlement in the case 100% of all that they are required or able to pay under Texas law.
And then, Mr. Williams, how do you pronounce your first name? Just to double check. I'm so sorry. I wanted to make sure.
It's actually Tyrick.
Tyrick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing this important story. Appreciate it.